Good morning, Baltimore. We're going to discuss Governor Hogan's gang task force. Oops. We're going to level up. We're going to discuss Governor Hogan's gang task force. That's for the Inspector General. The Inspector General, I'm going to mail that to them. Leon Pinkett's seen it. Leon Pinkett said they'll testify. We're going to talk about the gang task force that Governor Hogan has created with Senator Huff and Scott Shellenberger. Scott Shellenberger can't be on the gang task force because he's racist. That gang task force is about racism, and it's a racist task force. You're talking about the murder and the death. You're talking about the violence in Baltimore City. You're talking about a ceasefire. Well, you got to admit that you got a war on drugs. You got a war on drugs. So if you want to stop the violence in Baltimore City, you got to stop the war on drugs. In the 1920s, you had the war on prohibition where you were just killing little white kids. You were shooting white kids like you're shooting black kids now. So you ended the war on alcoholism. Now you got Ciroc. You got thousands and thousands of different alcoholic beverages. If you end the war on drugs, you're going to end the violence because we ain't gonna kill each other over nothing. You're gonna still have violence, but it ain't gonna be behind the war on drugs. Most black major cities has a drug problem, and that drug problem was created by our government. It was created by Richard Nixon, Ronald Reagan. When they created the war on drugs, it was a way of keeping the black community controlled in the population. It's also created the haves and the have-nots. Because see, everybody ain't a drug dealer. You feel me? But one way or the other, the war on drugs does affect us. We have a population of over 2 million people incarcerated in America. And over 80% are black or people of color. And we ain't the only ones committing crimes. You locking up low-level drug dealers, but you letting kingpins go. And the kingpins ain't black, they white. I was in the Navy 1977. That was at the end of Vietnam. Y'all seen the movie Scarface? Well, that shit was real. Y'all seen the movie American Gangster? That shit was real. So I thought I'd put all this on film. It's my 401k. It's my retirement plan. Baltimore, Rewired. We're going to show the war on drugs, and we're going to show the history of the war on drugs. And we're going to show the racism behind the war on drugs. I've been doing the 13th Amendment for 3 years. I've been showing the 13th Amendment for 3 years. Because I wanted to enlighten the community to ALEC the corporation and compare ALEC the corporation to the Greater Baltimore Committee. Because people got to understand how this stuff affects them directly instead of it affecting them indirectly. Now, Baltimore City has a financial portfolio, and their financial portfolio is attached to the Alabama prison industry. And Alabama's prison industry is their #1 employer. It's the prison industry. Commissioner Harris came from Louisiana. Angola is one of the biggest plantations and one of the biggest penitentiaries in America, then and now. Angola was a plantation, they turned it into a plantation. My job, my advocacy is homelessness and prisoners' rights. I'm a whistleblower on the courts because I'm showing where the state's attorney, the public defender, and the judges work together to incarcerate poor, indigent black Baltimore. I'm showing you the judges and the lawyers that deny you housing, deny you fair practices in the court. I name the judges, I name the lawyers, and I name the politicians, and y'all locked me up in 2011 to silence me. My brother worked for the FBI. He got everything. My mother lived in Las Vegas. She had everything. I got everything I need back. So now I'm getting ready to take a road trip. Yeah, Tyler Perry, Ellen DeGeneres, Steve Harvey. It's my homeless program because I'm still homeless. You feel me? I'm still homeless. So I'm working this homeless program. I'm going to work myself out of homelessness. I applied for Martin Luther King's job, and I did it as a gesture. I know that I can't take his job because I'm not a preacher. I'm not going to sit in church. But I can do his work. I can do what he taught me how to do. I was born in 1959. Emmett Till was your Tyrone West, your Freddie Gray. You've been killing black boys, black men for 400 years. Ain't nobody never did nothing or said nothing about it. I stood up and chose to say no. I stood up and stood on you. And I took you to court. And I beat you in court. I beat you in the streets. And I shut down your public events. I shout you down. Yeah. Just like the walls of Jericho. I give you your Bible stories. Just like the story of Job. I'm doing my job. Just like Samson and Delilah. I ain't met Delilah yet. I'm asking for a federal investigation. I'm asking for the Inspector General to act on this information. When the Inspector General acts on this information, you're gonna have to give me my money back. The state of Maryland accepted forged checks. The state of Maryland refused to return my property. The state of Maryland knowingly filed false police reports with the courts. The state of Maryland lied to the grand jury. And the state of Maryland denied me access to the grand jury. Marilyn Mosby been denying me access to the grand jury since 2014. Greg Bernstein been denying me access to the grand jury since 2008. I'm a jailhouse lawyer, state of Illinois versus Dwayne Davis. I got a right to defend myself. That's my right. They say a lawyer that defends himself is a fool. Dog, I'm the biggest fool you ever know. But guess what? This fool ain't lost a court in that case. State of Illinois versus Dwayne Davis, 1986. I turned in guns and drugs to the police station to end the war on drugs. October of 1985, I opened up a shorty program. It's on file. It's registered with the state of Illinois. It's a non-profit organization. You feel me? I'm a non-profit organization. And members of the city like Mayor Pugh, Nick Mosby, Marilyn Mosby, Governor O'Malley, y'all stole my shorty program. And I can show you my shorty program. It's copywritten. It's on record. Like I said, in the state of Illinois, public records, 1985. And Governor Thompson approved my program the same way that Governor O'Malley approved the program until they found out the program was about ending the war on drugs. Y'all got too much money invested in the war on drugs to end the war on drugs. Because when you kill a black man, you get one dead and you get one in jail, so you get a 2 for 1. Now you're trying to take our black women and our black kids. End the war on drugs and we'll stop those shootings. Well, we'll stop a percentage of those shootings. End the war on drugs and you'll see the difference in the black community. Reinvest that money that you spend on the war on drugs in the black communities that you destroyed. If Martin Luther King was here, he wouldn't accept that shit. Malcolm X was here, he wouldn't accept that shit. But you got these self-serving demigods like Al Sharpton, Reverend Jesse Jackson Jr., Larry Young, and ain't none of y'all saying end the war on drugs. Doc Cheatham, you ain't saying end the war on drugs. 92Q, WOLB, Radio 1, TV 1, ain't none of y'all saying end the war on drugs. Roland Martin, you ain't saying end the war on drugs. None of y'all is talking about suing the government for our freedom. Y'all want reparations. No, we got to have freedom first, baby. Sue this government in a class action lawsuit for mass incarceration. Sue the government for violating our rights. You got how many innocent people in jail behind the war on drugs and behind crimes committed by the state, and ain't none of y'all suing them. But a Girl Scout will sue a Boy Scout because I want to join their crew. Man, get the fuck out of here. Y'all can ban me. Y'all can do whatever you want. I don't need 1 million people to march. I need 1 million people to pay attention. I need 1 million people to pay attention because marching ain't gonna get us nowhere. We can march all day long nowadays because our leaders ain't gonna do nothing with that power when we march. When Martin marched to the court. Martin went to the Supreme Court with Thurgood Marshall. Martin went to the Supreme Court with Thurgood Marshall, the NAACP, and the ACLU. Now the NAACP and the ACLU ain't doing nothing but collecting money and lining their pockets. When the last time the ACLU, the NAACP took a class action lawsuit about ending the war on drugs? No, you want to talk about solitary confinement. You want to talk about abusers here, and then you raise money for this and raise money for that, but it don't go back into the communities that affects. Doc Cheatham on TV talking about the abandoned houses. Them houses that they burning down is they landlords and they property managers and people involved in insurance fraud is doing some of that. And then you want to blame it on the homeless people. It ain't the homeless people doing all that. And you can't blame homeless people for your problems. Y'all blame them homeless people for that killing before, and you found out they didn't do that killing. You blame them for these burnouts, and they ain't doing the burnouts. They're not doing the burnouts. People in the community that own them properties is doing them burnouts. People trying to collect on that insurance is doing them burnouts, or they wouldn't have been abandoned for so long. You charge homeless people with fines and fees for pissing on the streets or being loitering or whatever. You charge us with loitering. Well, start charging them homeowners, them people that own them abandoned properties, charging them or take their property from them like you take our water bills. Dog, man, we getting ready to do this. Like I said, the Inspector General. And we're gonna level up. Roland Martin, we're gonna level up. Roland Martin had this in 2008 when he was in Chicago. Kathleen Hughes had this since whatever. That's why they don't use me no more for catering. The Big Fat Morning Show. Mark Clark, y'all had this. Howard University Radio, y'all don't want to talk about ending the war on drugs. In the war on drugs, you want to stop the violence. Other than that, y'all just peddling some bullshit. Might check that. Let that one marinate. I'm going to start putting these emails up. Governor O'Malley's emails, Governor Hogan's emails, Brian Frost's emails, Bundy's emails, David Kamenetz's Judge Bennett's clerk. He got 250 emails he ain't answered. Johnny Oleski got over 300 emails he ain't answered. TJ Smith got emails he ain't answered. He answered one or two, but when he found out I was using these emails on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter, he stopped answering them. Social media for social change. I don't need 1 million people to march. I need 1 million people to pay attention. Are you paying attention? I hope so. Don't get lost in the sauce. See you at Starbucks. Just like Doogie Howser. See me every morning. When you don't see me, there's something wrong. See me every morning, I'll give you an update. We're going to podcast this. The revolution will be televised. Yes, it will. And I'm going to pull your card, call you out. Going to be at your events. And I show up at Starbucks anywhere because Starbucks is everywhere.